Okay, welcome back, guys. So much shit happened in the Champions League and just general of football. Let's fucking talk about it. Angelic podcast. So, I'm not going to be alone. I'm not going to be with Luca. I'm going to be with one of my good friends. He's the only guy, I'm going to say it, I'm not going to be shy to say it. He's the only guy who has a better footballing IQ than me. Guys, you know how much my football IQ is through the roof? It's the greatest footballing IQ after my boy Hassan. Hassan, bro, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it a lot. You don't understand how much that it helps me a lot to do more episodes, especially me not being like this big, having this big podcast, whatever. And whenever I have friends who are down and who have big footballing IQ like you, and plus you're a very good friend, let's have fun, bro.
For sure, man, for sure.
You want to shout out some people?
First of all, I want to shout out some people that I always have arguments with that piss me the hell off. But today is the time to put
all that to rest.
My word out
Yes,
in public and to see if people agree with me and you, obviously. And also, thanks for having me, man. It's always a pleasure supporting you and your podcast. It's
appreciate it, broski.
Since day one.
I appreciate it. Like I said, bro, today we're talking about football. Everything we have to say, it's the end of the season. Of course, League One has 4 more games. Bundesliga has 4 more games. But it's the end of the season. Champions League, Paris Magique. We're going to talk more about it. But Hassan, and also, guys, Hassan is a lawyer, future lawyer. So on top of that, I mean, guys, I'm just like a regular student. I'm not big like him. So he has a footballing IQ, and he's going to be a lawyer. You add those two together, it's going to be an epic episode. Okay, so Hassan, like I said, let's start with the Champions League final. Paris versus Inter. Let me give you my thoughts, and then we'll talk about it together. Okay, so that game, guys, like I said so many times, Inter, the way they play, yes, they won against Barca. In my opinion, I was very surprised when they won against our team, Hassan, Barca. That's our fucking team. I was very surprised, like, okay, they won. What happened? I was pretty sure that Barca are going to win. But the way Inter play, it's not like you can win that way. It's the Italian way, right? You defend, and then, of course, you're going to score goals, whatever. But that way, that style of play, in my opinion, it's not the best style of play for football. In my opinion, football, what I consider to be the perfect style of play for football is attacking football and very technical, just like PSG and just like this current Barca. For me, that's the best type of footballing there is. That's why when PSG not only won against Inter, when they fucking destroyed Inter with 5-0, you watch the game. You guys watch the game. It was pure domination. And I just want to say that, I just want to shout out again, like I always say, I talk to you, you love Lucho Enrique. Lucho Enrique, man.
What a guy.
For me, the best manager currently on planet Earth. For me. I want to know your thoughts on the game.
I agree with you about Lucho. I'll come back to it later. But the thing about Inter and PSG, yes, they've dominated the game. They've been the most consistent team, and they've covered all aspects of the game, such as like quick transitions, ball possession, great attacking football. Obviously, we watch it for entertainment, right? Because now football nowadays, it's all robotic and whatever.
I hate it.
And that's what was missing at Barca for over the years. We always had those Valverde, Kike Setien, all those boring coaches. We finally brought back Hansi Flick, who brought back joy to the way.
You love Hansi Flick, bro.
I love Hansi Flick. I'll come back to it, though.
Yeah, you love Hansi Flick.
But like Lucho Enrique, like I said, and also rest defense. Like he knows when to attack, when to balance the game. It's not all rush. I think that's something that Barca were struggling with this season. But yet again, they're gonna progress with all the players that they have. And like he said, yes, Inter beat Barca, but they beat Barca. I'm not saying by luck. Obviously, I don't like to say by luck. They've won fair and square. Barca, it's unacceptable to allow 7 goals. Especially versus Inter. But however, all the goals that they allow were on Barca's mistakes. If you look at the first goal that they allowed, Barcelona, Inigo slipped. And it was a great cross by, I think it was Dumfries.
Yeah.
Thuram scored, and the second goal was a corner. The third goal was a corner, and Lewandowski wasn't missing, and he's key for those set pieces. The fourth goal was it was a mistake by Olmo, and the fifth goal was what? A penalty, fair and square. Sixth goal, there was like a foul on Gerard Martin, but it was very soft. But yet again, if Gerard Martin had experienced, he would have fell down and got the foul, right? But that all comes back to experience. But yet again, Barcelona were convincing versus Inter.
They were, man, all season long. Not just against Inter.
All season long.
All the El Clasicos, bro. They went crazy. Like, and just now, of course, I mean, we're going to talk about so many things. But to get back to the game, you know how much we love Pedri?
Yeah.
I know, like, I adore Pedri, but I think you love him even more than I do.
I want to shout out my friend for that.
Go ahead.
My friend Joseph.
Diab,
Because of him.
Shout out, broski.
Shout out for him because he saw the vision since 2021, since Coleman started playing him at 18. And I used to love Ricky Pooch. Remember Ricky Pooch?
Yeah, that guy, bro. He fucked up everything.
Because he brought back something new in the midfield. But when Pedri came along, obviously I like Pedri, but I had a special soft spot for Ricky Pooch. I admit it. But Ricky Pooch obviously not flop, but he went back to the LA,
he went to
MLS.
Galaxy.
Galaxy. He's making money right now.
Yeah, but he was like 24 years old. I mean, for me, that just shows me that I think he prefers money over
100%.
actually having a legacy or a big career in the footballing world.
100%.
Like going to LA, it's America, it's LA, it's Hollywood, it's whatever. But I mean, that really showed me his side. And to get back to Pedri, but what I want to talk about is Vitinha, that game, Champions League final. Vitinha, bro. How old is Vitinha? I'm like 21?
Is he 23?
Or maybe, okay. But
I'm not sure.
He's below 25, that's for sure.
100%, of course.
Vitinha, like I said, we love Pedri, but Vitinha is close to Pedri.
100%. Vitinha
Bro.
is like the Pedri. And
oh my
you need
God,
that
bro.
type of midfielder to function. And we're going to come back to the final, the initial topic.
Of course.
Like, everything runs to the midfield. At the end of the day, you have a good midfield, you basically win the game, right?
Yeah.
And everything connects from defense to midfield to offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dean just knew how to pass, how to balance, how to attack, when to rest up, when to exploit those spaces, and he just knew what to do.
Yeah.
And Inter were very slow at that, and it just pisses me off because I think if Barcelona would have made that final, it would have benefited Barcelona playing a team like PSG because they love playing those type of teams.
Yeah.
Like Real Madrid, you know what I mean? It's not similar, but like, you know, they like having that space and playing versus better teams, I guess, or better like...
Because PSG and Barca are very similar in style of play. Like very technical, they're very good wingers, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Desiree Doué, Bradley Barcola, Kvaradona, Vitinha, Fabio Neves, Pedri, like it's very similar. But to get back to your argument that you said, every team needs a midfielder like Vitinha or 100%. Pedri. If you don't, in football, in soccer, if you don't have a midfielder, a creative midfielder like those two, you cannot win. I'm sorry, like, you can win certain games, but on the biggest stage, like Champions League, you cannot win. And my opinion is, in the Champions League, what fucked up Real Madrid, they don't have that midfielder.
Thank you.
They had Modric. They had him. He's 39, bro. Now he's a fucking grandpa. Modric, he's Croatian. I'm from Yugoslavia. You know how much I love Modric. But, I mean, let's say it how it is. He's old. He's old.
I agree with you.
Like, Bellingham is phenomenal. But can he create like Pedri? Can he create like Vitinha? He's an amazing box-to-box midfielder. That's how I see him. Valverde is amazing. Camavinga is amazing. But they're defensive midfielders.
100%.
Where's your Pedri? Where's your Iniesta? Where's your Modric?
I've had that debate with several friends, family that are Real Madrid supporters or like not necessarily Barcelona fanatics. And I've always said it. When Cruz leaves, they need to replace him. Because if he doesn't get replaced, you can't win a game with 3 box-to-box midfielders. There's no control in the midfield. And look at Real Madrid this season. And I said it. I said, Mbappe signing, yes, he's a good signing, but he wasn't the profile that was needed for that team. Because they weren't lacking in Mbappe. They had Vini, they had Rodrigo. And they functioned really well last season with playing Jude Bellingham as a box-to-box / striker / false nine, having Cruz dictating the tempo, and that's what was missing for Real Madrid.
Of course, the midfield, I mean, when you like, and also in the Champions League, what really surprised me, the team that really surprised me was Arsenal. How they won against Real Madrid the first game, bro. I was like, Jesus Christ. That just showed, yes, Real Madrid, you can get away with not having a Pedri against little teams in La Liga.
100%.
But when it comes to Champions League, the best teams in Europe, you're going to get exposed. And that's what happened because 100%. You don't have that midfield. Arsenal had that midfield with Thomas Partey, Odegaard, and Declan Rice.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, Jesus Christ, bro.
But the Champions League is all about also having a good midfielder like this, a good number 8, like a controller, Maestro, and also having a good keeper, man. Having a good keeper.
They're so underrated, our keepers.
The keepers are underrated, especially in tournaments. Tournaments, I'm saying, not leagues. Tournaments, you need to have a good keeper. Look at every team that won the Champions League over the years. Their keeper was amazing. Donnarumma this year was outstanding.
Phenomenal.
Last year, who was it? Thibaut Courtois?
Yeah, phenomenal.
Outstanding. The year before was 2000 was Manchester City. Ederson in the final. Not dominated, but they had more chances to score than and etc. You need to have a good keeper in the Champions League. And I'm gonna come back to Barcelona again. Barcelona with over the years, I'm not saying he's entitled to be like the only one blamed, but having Marc-Andre Ter Stegen is the biggest fraud on this planet. I don't give a fuck.
No, but in the beginning he was really good.
beginning,
I'm not gonna lie.
he was good because he had a competition with him. He had Bravo giving him competition.
And also, everyone saw him as the new Neuer.
Yeah.
Like, he used to go up front. He was very good technically with the ball.
Before, you're right.
2015, when he won the Champions League, he was really good. But that just enforces your argument of you need a good goalkeeper to win Champions League.
Exactly. And that second leg he played versus Bayern, he was outstanding when Barca won 3-0 and he lost the second leg. He was saving a lot. But you need to have a good keeper. And Ter Stegen over the years, I'm not saying he's, like I said, I'm not saying he's entitled to be blamed for all the losses Barcelona and all the struggles. There's way more to that. But starting with the goalkeeper, if your goalkeeper is not good or not reliable, you can't win a Champions League. And look at this year, Barcelona, they have Chesney, a 40-year-old, half decent, came out from retirement that smokes every day.
Even in his prime, he wasn't like a top goalkeeper.
But it still shows that with him, they were more confident and they still reached the semifinal. Barca haven't reached the semifinal in the last, since the last semifinal, 2016.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
So over 9 years. You think it's a coincidence? And also, I think they're gonna sign a new keeper, Barca.
They have to. They have a new keeper. They have to sign a new keeper and a new number 9.
Number 9?
That's what bro. Lewandowski's old, bro.
I agree with you, but
Lewandowski's old.
I think they should sign a winger first, a left winger.
Where are you gonna put Rafinha?
Rafinha still started, but you need a guy that because Lamine Yamal is the only creative winger. Rafinha's not a creative winger.
No, he runs fast and he finishes. Yeah, he's a runner. Yeah.
So we need another type of winger to produce that, and I think it's a good competition to rest also Rafinha. Because Rafinha's been playing bare games.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm with you on Lewandowski. He's getting old.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He put up numbers this season. He finished second top scorer of La Liga.
Yeah.
He put up numbers, like it or not. But I feel like, Barca, what's happening, like we talked about Barca, and also for my Barca fans, don't worry. Like, the team is so young. So young. Like, guys, I said it so many times, Lamine Yamal is 17.
Yeah.
Pedri's 21. He's like the oldest of the youngsters.
100%.
Kubarsi is 17. Kubarsi is even younger than Lamine Yamal. It's such a young team, and they're just going to get better and better. So, like, just the fact that they reached the semifinal this year with having so many youngsters, it just shows that. And like I said, yes, they lost against Inter. Many mistakes, young people mistake that maybe if they were more experienced, those mistakes wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
But like it or not, bro, they've been playing professional for 1 or 2 years. Like, it's new, bro.
They've never been at this stage.
And the confidence they showed, bro, crazy.
That's all shout out to
Hansi Flick, huh?
That team was, I'm gonna say, and I hate to say, they were used to losing and not give a fuck,
bro.
They're losing. Yes, it affected them, but at the end they were like, okay, it's done, we lost. But Hansi Flick came, and I think that's the most underrated thing about his job so far is the mentality of the team. You see the team now are not even stressed when they're losing. They're confident.
Oh, they're confident
as hell,
bro.
They trust each other. And Hansi Flick is the perfect manager for that.
Bro,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm so happy he came, especially with a team of, like you said, young players. Fermin, Lamine, Pedri, Gavi, Casado, Bernal, Kobarsi, Balde. You know what I mean? Like,
they're all young, bro.
All young.
They're all young.
They needed a guy like that,
Yeah.
And I think it's on the long run. Yes, like you said, they lost in the semifinal. But if you think about it, no one played a semifinal in the career other than Ter Stegen. He didn't play. Lewandowski was injured.
Yeah.
I think came out as an extra time. And Frankie de Jong. But the other players around them, the whole squad never played a semifinal.
Yeah, I know.
I think Ferran, I don't know.
Maybe, but on top of my head, I cannot remember. But like we said, it's a new team. They're new, bro.
And in a way, it's good that they lost now, in a sense of, like, on the long term, it's going to be way
growing
more
pains.
beneficial.
It's only growing pains. It's good because they're going to gain more experience.
Barcelona 2008 is the same thing.
Yeah.
And in 2010, I think, and it was the beginning of something nice, and I hope it.
Oh, bro, that. But do you think, okay, because this is how I see it. I love Hansi Flick. I know how much I don't love him as much as you do. You really love him.
I love him, yeah.
Do you think that if Xavi was given this team, it would not have functioned?
But it's the same team. It just Olmo was signed.
Yeah, but Lamine was younger. He wasn't playing lights out.
The thing with Xavi, my problem with Xavi is obviously Barcelona legend. Shout out Xavi, love him, whatever. And I still think he can come back in the future. Because his footballing IQ is not
through the roof.
It's through the roof. But I think coming to Barcelona is the hardest club to coach because if you noticed, all coaches leave after 3-4 years. It's pressure. Pep Guardiola, the greatest of all time, by the way, over Mourinho. He stayed 4 years.
Yeah, but he tends to leave when he sees that a club is going down.
But he's smart.
Yeah, he's smart. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time when you look at accomplishments.
Lucho 3 years. Valverde 2 years and a half. Quique Setien, not even 6 months. Coleman 1 year and 2 months.
That's what happens. Bars have such high expectations, and when you don't meet them, Especially at that time when they had fucking Messi and
Yeah.
whoever, you're like, Jesus
100%.
Christ. I mean, you can't be losing in the semifinals against, when would they lose against Liverpool? Quarterfinals?
Oh yeah, sorry, that's the last semifinal.
Yeah, 2019.
My bad, 2019.
Yeah, with fucking Trent Arnold with his fucking gay-ass
But
corner.
you see, that's all experience. It's pressure,
Yeah.
right? And Xavi, like I said, I still think he's good, but he was just also having a guy that coming to coach his old pals, like his old teammates, like Jordi Alba, PK, Sergio Roberto.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that because there's a lot of politics involved, right? Playing him because
it obviously affects a little bit. But how I say it, because I love Xavi, I think that I see him coming back in the future.
100%.
That's how I see it. I see him coming back in the future, and I hope he comes back because Xavi is Xavi. But just by being a good player doesn't mean he's going to transition into a good coach.
100%.
Maradona,
100%.
shitty coach, right? One of the greatest players of all time, way better than Xavi. I mean,
100%.
Xavi is one of the greatest central midfielders of all time, if not the greatest CM of all time. Maradona is probably one of the greatest players of all time, and how it transitioned to coaching, not really good. But I feel like Xavi isn't Maradona. I feel like Maradona was, crazy by nature.
Pure talent, but didn't care about like tactics or anything. You're just
Like, put me on the pitch, I'm gonna do my
100%.
magic. But Xavi is pure like he's the kind of guy who would read tactics and study about
he knows, and he also played under Van Gaal.
Yeah.
He was a student of Johan Cruyff. He played under under Pep, and all the players.
Also, the guy, what's his name? Rijkaard.
Rijkaard too,
Yeah, when Ronaldinho played, yeah.
You know, they're all coming from the same philosophy, the same school of...
Which started by Johan Cruyff.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Johan Cruyff.
Big shout out to him, yeah.
Genius, bro. Shit.
You know what I mean? So he knows, and all the players were saying it. Messi, Iniesta, Busquets, PK, Puyol, Jordi Alba, they're all saying Xavi, Dani Alves, they're all saying Xavi when it comes to football. There's no higher IQ.
Yeah.
And I think he came at a time where he saw the Barca were struggling, and he wanted to help his club, his first love, which is the club, right? But I think if you give him, he needs to go elsewhere. Give him 2-3 years, build his ideas.
I think
make mistakes at a club that don't matter, and then you have your principles. Then you come back, you have your idea of playing, and boom,
Yeah.
you know. And I think that's why he panicked last year. We were playing a lot of, if you watch Barca, they're playing a lot of long balls. It wasn't Barcelona.
It wasn't Barca style.
There's a lot of transitional movement, right? And it wasn't nice to watch, and that's why Hansi Flick came, and in 2 months he started, we saw a whole different Barca. Usually it takes a year, and the pressure at big clubs, but Hansi Flick, man, wow.
I think what happened is Xavi, first of all, let's say how it is, he came at one of the worst times to be a Barca coach.
Yeah.
I mean, that team. Do you remember once when the starting lineup was Griezmann, Depay, and all those players? I was
Gueza and all that.
I was like, who the fuck are we watching right now? What's this Barca? That was dark times as fuck, bro. And I feel so first of all, he came in the wrong time. That was one of his first experiences as a coach, as a manager. So that's really hard. And then having Barca high pressure. But one thing that I hated about Barca is in the beginning with Pep Guardiola, when we're talking about Pep Guardiola, when he brought tiki-taka, with those players, Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Dani Alves, Eric Abidal, Piqué, fucking crazy, David Villa, Pedro, with those players, it worked amazingly because they're very technical and you cannot get more technical than fucking the diamond of Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets. I mean, what more do you want? Of all time, right? But I felt with the years, what I hated with Barca was how I see them is when they used to get scared, they would only pass the ball backwards, and there was less creativity and less risk taking.
Exactly.
And that's why I think they lost against Liverpool. If you watch the second leg, I mean, first leg they fucking dominated when Messi made his free kick, and
I think the first leg, like you said, I think it's just Messi. I always said it, even till this
Messi
day.
went crazy.
Messi, yes, he did 2 goals, but that game, Liverpool dominated Barcelona.
Yeah, but Messi went crazy that game.
Oh, went crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Messi was the only one playing.
That's why the team won, because Messi can't do that.
But you can't rely, like I said, on individual brilliance to get you out of every shit game. And
of course,
Barcelona got dominated over 2 legs. I'm a Barcelona fan saying this, and I'm not scared of saying this. They got dominated the first. If you look at the first leg, Liverpool were dominating Barcelona. We just happened to have Messi.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And do you remember in the first leg when he fucking took out 3 players with 1 pass to give it to Dembele? Yeah. Dembele, I want you, bro. It was 3-0, and people are it's 3-0. But I'm like, guys, you don't understand. Bayern Munich 2012, shit happens, Roma, whatever. And then when Dembele missed that, I was like, holy fuck shit. And Messi took out 3 players with 1 pass. Jesus
Do you think
Christ.
if
Who does that?
Dembele would have scored that goal, the tie would have been over?
It would have changed everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe they would have still lost. I don't know. But going into the second leg, it would have changed
I
everything.
don't think they would have lost the second leg.
You don't think so?
The 4-0?
Because listen, what happened. So this was what I wanted to say is in the second leg, and this coming back to my mentality of why I hated a little bit tiki taka is when Barca gets scared. Second leg against Liverpool 2019, they keep passing the ball backwards. They're afraid of taking risk because they lose self-confidence. Then you only, and like we said, football is 11v11. You cannot only, we have Messi and then put 10 pieces of wood.
No, you can't.
You can't, bro. It's 11v11. You have to have a team. If you have someone covering, two players covering Messi, like, Jesus Christ, it's 100%. A team. That second leg just showed me that style of football, sometimes, like, tic-tac is amazing, but you have to have Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets. You have to have those players, because when you have then Rakitic or Arturo Vidal, whatever, they panic, which Rakitic 2015 was really good.
Amazing.
Don't get it twisted, amazing.
Yeah,
but after that, he was going down, and like in 2015, with Lucho Enrique, what I loved is very technical, but offensive. 100%. Don't be afraid. Yeah. Rakitic always passed the ball forward, and he was very creative. And with the years, I felt like
backwards now. Yeah, you're right.
He was afraid passing it backwards. No one wanted to take risks.
I think I agree and disagree with what you said in the sense of, like, I don't think it was the tiki taka. I just think that, like, Valverde's style of football was a blend 4-4-2, a lot of direct long balls. You know, it wasn't consistent. And Valverde is a boring coach. He doesn't have, like, he's not meant to coach Barcelona. He just happened to have Messi's best year, like Messi still in prime, getting him out of like shitholes and everything sometimes. But, like, Barcelona didn't have, also they were lacking that Pedri Maestro in the midfield.
Yeah.
Vidal
Iniesta was older.
Iniesta went.
Yeah, he went to, yeah.
What's it called? Vidal box to box.
Yo, Vidal defensive, pure box to box. No creativity in him.
Rakitic old.
Yeah.
You know, who else? Sergio Roberto playing as a right midfielder.
That guy,
in that 4-4-2. You know what I mean? Like, Artur was playing only 50 minutes a game. He was actually closer.
Artur, the Brazilian. Yeah. What happened with him?
He was just physically not fit. He was playing 50,
because he was really good.
He was really good.
I thought he was going to be the next Iniesta.
Same.
I was pretty,
When he was playing 50, 60 minutes a game, he was drained. Like, he was gassed. He was getting subbed out.
Where does he play now, man? What the fuck? Artur Melo, bro.
I think he's at Girona.
What happened with Artur?
Or at Liverpool. I think he's at Liverpool or Girona, if I'm not mistaken.
Girona.
Yeah,
Girona, yeah.
I remember, yeah.
Damn, bro, what a drop.
I know. He just physically wasn't here. But he was technically, man,
bro,
he was something that we lacked.
Bro, he used to go in circles like Xavi.
He was good. You know what I mean? So, like, I think that's why Barcelona, over the years, they struggled. And also we're evolving. Footy's, like, it's not the same footy that you can play in 2009. Yes, you can keep the same fundamentals, like ball possession, attacking-based football, but you have to change it up a bit. Yeah. You can't keep the same.
And also, you have to look at the players you have. If you don't have the players for tiki-taka, don't do tiki-taka.
100%.
Do you know what kind of players you need for tiki-taka? You need Xavi, Messi, Iniesta.
You need generational talent. Coming from La Masia,
that's what you need, bro.
That, like, you don't need to give them instructions, you know?
But if you have, like we said, Artur Melo, Vidal, and Rakitic, forget it, tiki-taka, bro.
Play long balls and that's it. Inshallah, you know? But yeah, man, like I said, it's just over the years in footy now, it's becoming a lot of, like, fast-paced game, man. It's like runners. You need runners.
You need a lot.
Back then, obviously, you needed people to run, but it was more on technical. Now it's more 50-50. Like, you have players who are running, like, you have the Haaland, the Gyökeres, and all those players. They run, man. They run. Back then, it was, like, you had Thierry Henry was the only one that pops in my head with speed. Who else had speed?
Like crazy speed?
Yeah, speed, yeah.
Like football, I mean, speed always helps in football, but it's, like, I feel it's not the most important. Now, it depends also how you play. I feel like nowadays, football, it changed a lot with deep midfielders and fast wingers.
100%.
I feel like that's how it is, which is a bit different to what the style I prefer. I prefer the PSG style, you know, like very technical. That's the Lucho style in my opinion. That's what I fucking like. But nowadays, yes, football is really like deep midfielders, like Real Madrid, with really fast wingers. And football changed a lot throughout the years.
100%, man. It is what it is. And coming back to PSG and Inter, PSG won. I just want to say PSG, shout out to PSG. They deserved it. And they were the most dominant side, and they were the most consistent side, and also helps winning the league early and resting your big players.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
And also winning a treble. Shout out, man. Their first treble.
Yeah.
Champions League also.
Second treble for the Lucho Enrique.
You know? Like, you have to have a team that's physically fit, and you can't afford injuries to win trebles. And winning treble is the hardest thing in football because you have to focus on 3 competitions. You know, because a lot of teams like Real Madrid over the years, shout out, they won the Champions League and everything, but they just don't focus on the other competitions too much, and they focus on the most prestigious award. But
especially the fans, huh? 15 Champions League. You hate that, huh?
Like you weren't even born back then, bro. Like if you didn't witness those 15 Champions League, you know.
Yeah.
And not everything is set in stones. Everything changes over the years, right? And everything has a context.
Yeah.
Like that's back then. Anyways, I don't want to get into it. Like how they won the Champions League under the regime.
Oh, bro, without VAR, bro, if VAR would have existed in those days,
100%.
I'm not saying they wouldn't have won Champions League, but it would have changed a lot, bro. I mean, some goals, it was pure offside.
100%.
No, like it's a penalty, but it shouldn't be a penalty. You know the meme? Penalty en favor de Real Madrid. Yo, bro.
Every time there's something. But winning the Champions League is all about, if you, like over the last 5 years, the best team in my eyes to watch football was Manchester City.
Of course, yeah, he went crazy.
But
crazy.
You have to be clutch in the Champions League.
Yeah, you have to.
You know, like Real Madrid, every time they played Manchester City, by the way, I'm not saying this as an excuse, they got dominated, but they were clutch. They had those. They knew how to convert their chances, right? And that's tournaments.
And Real Madrid are clutch, man.
They are clutch, bro.
And yeah, like I said, those tournaments, sometimes it's only one game.
Yeah.
Like World Cup's only one game. So if that game, something goes bad with your team and you have the greatest team, fuck it, forget about it. You're going to lose. And that also goes for the Champions League. It's not 38 games like a league. It's one or two games.
Like a league. It's very like one game, give it all, you know, convert your chances. You can dominate that game with 20 shots on target, 20 expected goals, and you can win the game 1-0.
The first leg of Inter-Barca and then in the semifinals, bro.
Yeah.
Barca completely dominated.
The second leg, Sommer.
Bro, bro, but that's football. And I hate that it's like that, but it is what it is. Some teams, Greece 2004, how they won the Euro. They defended the entire tournament. They put one goal. Like, we have the Euro Cup.
Exactly. And they won, like, they were scoring, like, remember, like, they got to, because they were all physically and tall, but they weren't technical. So they're all, like, benefiting on scoring corners.
Yeah,
like,
crossing that bitch.
That's smart, though, because they used their best aspect to their advantage. They know they're not the best team, you know, but, like, if I were to coach I'm not going to say a shitter team, but, like, a less good team, like, let's say a Greece or, like, a Armenia, for example. I don't know, I'm just giving examples. Bro, I would play a style that like players can suit and just work on set pieces and corners and score on that. You know what I mean? Obviously, try to score a build-up goal, but like,
like I said, they won. You cannot take that away from them. I'm just saying that, like, as a fan, as a spectator, I'm like, bro.
And they won in Portugal. They won Portugal in Portugal. And Portugal were in the finals. Mm-hmm. Because I think Portugal beat them in the group stage and then they met in the finals again.
In 2004?
Yeah, and Greece won them and it was crazy.
Yeah, no, but in the like Euros it happens, but I feel like in the World Cup, only the good teams win. There was never only good teams have won World Cups. Like, let's say Uruguay, they have two, but they won it in 1930 and 1934, like when the World Cup just started. That doesn't count. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it counts on paper.
It's also the most informed team, right? Argentina were such informed in the World Cup.
Oh, but they were so good.
They lost the first game.
That team, bro.
And even the second game, Mexico, they weren't that good, but then Scaloni, shout out, man. He had balls. He's smart, man.
No, he's really good, really good manager. And that team, like it or not, that team is really good and they fit really well together. And what I like is they all know, they do it for themselves, of course. They do it for their family members, whatever. But they want to win it extra for Messi. 100%. It's like, bro, extra for Messi.
It's a family, man.
Yeah,
that's how national team. If you want to win a competition, you have to have that spirit in the
it helps a lot.
They can't be like, you can't be selfish in a national team. Everyone is there to play for the same reason. And like you said, they're playing for Messi. Like players were saying, I'm more happy for Messi to win than I won the World Cup.
You have to.
You know, like you never see that in football. But that just shows like Messi is such an underrated leader. He's not the leader that's gonna scream at everybody.
No, but he leads by example.
He talks, everyone listens. If you see the videos, he talks, everyone's like standing there. He's like a fucking general of the army, like a colonel, and everyone's like just listening to him. And that's what you need sometimes, you know?
Of course.
Ronaldo is different. He's like more of a vocal leader, you know? And it's fine. I think I'm more like that when I come to playing sports, you know, but we can't like take out the fact of like the other type of leaders, like such as Messi's and all that. So, 100%.
No, of course. That's what I hated when people said that Messi isn't a leader. I'm like, a leader isn't just someone who shouts.
Oh no.
People sometimes mistake. Oh, he's shouting, he's screaming. He's a real good leader.
You can shout and not be a leader.
You can shout and just be like a dumbass who's shouting for no reason. Like it doesn't mean anything. But you can be like Messi, who he doesn't lead vocally. He leads vocally, but he doesn't scream. He's not loud. He's not extroverted. But by his presence, by his aura, when nowadays auras are popular, with his leading by example, what more do you need from Messi? You don't need anything more. On the pitch, he leads. Bro, when he has the ball, he does, like, I mean, it's just...
I was watching a video about that last time, about like it's like a close camera on Messi during the game. The way he gives instruction to the players. He he just reads the game differently, man. And that's a leader.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I was seeing a clip with Dembele when Barca played Chelsea in 2018. Dembele scored his first Champions League goal with Barca. Like, how he was talking to Dembele, like... They don't speak the same language. Dembele doesn't speak Spanish in 2018. But he knows how, like, he's like a coach on the field. Like, he knows. He doesn't speak much. He just tells you one word, you listen. Because no one knows the game better than him.
No one knows. Like Messi, like I said, Messi, he's on the pitch and he sees everything immediately. He knows everything. Oh, he should be there.
100%.
Why? Because he knows his brain just captures everything immediately. 100%. That's why, that's just
100%.
a crazy talent. No one knows footballing IQ better than Messi. And that's why when Mascherano said, even if Messi played center back, he will be the greatest player of all time as a center back. Because he just...
It's all IQ, man.
He knows everything. So when Messi tells you, you know what, cut instead of crossing, whatever, you listen because he's right.
He sees
bro.
the vision before you're seeing it.
And also Messi, he doesn't have a big ego. Like he's not like, I have to be better than him, which I feel Ronaldo has a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's never gonna say something so he looks better. He's always gonna say what's good for the team because he wants the team to win. That's what's crazy with
Suarez
with
was leading the Golden Boot in 2016, was giving all the penalties to Suarez because Messi was injured and he knew Messi's not gonna give him to. He doesn't care. Like, he shouldn't care. It's all about a team sport at the end of the day.
Of course. Like, when it was Messi, Suarez, Neymar, one thing I hated, because I felt like Messi and Suarez were closer together as a relationship than Neymar. Neymar was close, but I feel like those two were a bit closer. Sometimes I feel like in some games, Messi would give it to Suarez when Ashley should be giving it to Neymar, like a certain pass, whatever. I feel like sometimes that happened, but most of the time, Messi, he's very smart, it wouldn't happen. But sometimes I'm like, because, Suarez in the beginning, monster, phenomenal. At the end, he was busting my balls, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. At the end, bro, he was busting my balls.
That's the problem with Barcelona. Another problem with Barcelona, other than the financial problem, is hiring, like I said, boring coaches that don't fit the style. And coming back to Xavi, why I didn't like Xavi's tenure at Barcelona was playing the old players. And Barcelona were holding on to those old players. We had the same players in the 2012 lineup that we had in 2025. It's bro, like, there's no other team that had the same players. We had still the Jordi Albas, the Piqués, the Roberto.
We had a very old team.
The Busquets, I love Busquets, one of my favorite players of all time. But like, it was time to move on, man. And that's a problem with Barcelona. And Suarez, at the end of his career, just getting like...
Bro, he was wasting balls. He was a waste.
And Barcelona's problem, they didn't know how to, like,
when to cut someone
because they're too emotionally attached to the player.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's business.
Yeah.
That's why I say politics. It's all about politics. Oh, we love the player. He did so much for us. Let's keep him. He's not the same guy.
Same goes for Portugal right now. When they're keeping Ronaldo.
They're better with Ronaldo.
Bro, one of the greatest players of all time. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I'm going to get back to
100%.
Barca. One of the greatest players of all time, Cristiano Ronaldo. Mm-hmm. But like it or not, father time is a real shit. Like, it's real. It exists. You can be Maradona. You can be Messi. But once you're old, you cannot perform on the pitch. Ronaldo is the greatest Portuguese player of all time. He did so much for Portugal. It's crazy. But now it's 2025. He's 40. Is he 40 or 41? He's 40 for sure. Let go of Cristiano Ronaldo. You guys, especially now, Portugal have a very good team with Vitinha, Rafael Leão. Like, they have so good players that if they know that, okay, Ronaldo, let's put him to the side. We understand, like you said, emotionally attached. We don't want to let go of him. Yeah. But he's old, bro. Like, we have to let go of him.
Keep him as a super sub. You're not losing anything,
I think his ego. I think Ronaldo's ego, he doesn't want to go on the bench. He has a big ego.
And he thinks he still can play, but I don't think he can play at that level.
He can't.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people confuse that. Like, again, they bring back the past, saying, "Oh, he can play," but keep him on the bench. Keep him as a super sub. You don't need to start him.
Keep him for morale or whatever.
Portugal won 6-1 versus, was it Switzerland at the World Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronaldo was on the bench. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's because of him they're losing. I'm saying, like, he's such a liability nowadays.
Of course.
Like, you have to move on.
Bro,
It's the same thing, man. It's just like, come back to Barca. It's the same thing with Barca. Like, and also when you want to build a team consistent for in the long term, you have to slowly get rid of players and replace them with youngsters, Not
of course.
The whole squad, because you have to keep some veterans, right?
Yeah, always.
Look at Real Madrid. I got to give shout out to Papa Perez.
Yeah.
Perez, the president.
Yeah, bro,
Ronaldo was old. He went to buy, I think, Ronaldo was old. He went to buy Vini.
Yeah.
Benzema was
in 2018,
old.
He got Vini.
Yeah. Ramos was old. He went to buy who? I think it was Militao or I think Rudiger. Marcelo was old. He went to buy Mendy. Navas was old. They went to get Courtois. You know, they're rebuilding their team consistent. That's how they won the Champions League.
Yeah.
You had such a mix of experienced players and youngsters, and over the years, as soon as they see you decline in age, Real Madrid don't care about your age. Boom, you get out, we replace you.
That's one thing I gotta say. I gotta give flowers to Fiorentino Perez when it comes to getting players. Bro, he's top level. Like, bro, they just got TAA.
He knows how to build this team.
One of the greatest right backs right now on planet Earth. They got TAA. I mean, still, I feel like they need to go and get that midfielder that they're lacking. That Pedri, they need that Modric. They cannot rely on Modric anymore. He's old. I feel like they're still missing that one. Now, how I see Mbappe, now we're talking about Real Madrid, how I see Mbappe, I still feel like Mbappe is the greatest player at Real Madrid. 100%. That's his team. Yeah. That's my opinion. Vinny is good. That's still Mbappe's team. Yeah. Mbappe, he finished top scorer of La Liga. So his season, maybe not the best, but it's not a fluke. He finished top fucking scorer.
It wasn't a fluke. In the contrary, remember, we had that discussion at the beginning of the season, and people were asking me, what would you do? I would say, I would sell Vinny or Mbappe. You can't have two stars playing the same position. Yes, you can play Mbappe out of position, but like, you want to get the best out of Mbappe, you play him in this position. And I know it's fucked up to say, oh, wow, would you sell Vinny? I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have to sell one of, like, because there's two similar profiles. You get the profile. It's all about profile, not the player. You don't get a player because he's the best. You get a player based on his profile that you need. You're lacking an 8, go get an 8 profile, the maestro, the controller. Yeah. You don't get a box-to-box because...
You already have fucking Camavinga, Valverde, and the Bellingham.
If they want to go get a striker. Yeah. Real Madrid should get a striker.
Yeah.
2. 8 striker. I think they're lacking in center back too because I don't know if Xabi Alonso is going to play 3 in the back, but like...
I don't think he's going to play 3 in the back.
They got a center back. They got that guy from Bournemouth. I don't know how to pronounce his name. The Spanish guy.
Oh, yeah. He has like a Arab name, but it's
Arab
not...
Norway?
No. But it's like Al Hussein, something like that. Bro. It's similar to that, I swear to God. No, but someone said... No, it's not. It's very like... Halujien?
I think it's like Norwish, like from Norway. I mean, sorry.
No, but his name is Norwegian. Spanish, but it's similar to like a...
Arab name?
Yeah.
What's for... Anyways...
Well, what's Al something, bro? Fucking...
Just write Real Madrid center back, new center back, and you'll get it on...
Yeah, but like we said, in my opinion, like I said, that's Mbappe's team. And yes, like you said, selling Vinny is a fucked up thing to say, but it's not that fucked up when you have Mbappe. If you didn't have Mbappe, I would say, why the fuck would you sell Vinny? That's your best left winger. Yeah. But like or not, even Rodri, by nature, he's a left winger. He's righty, bro. Yeah. And so they have Rodri, Mbappe, and Vinny all up front, but they're all on they all want to go in the left wing so 100%. They can be at their prime. And like it or not, Vinny is amazing. In my opinion, he should have won last year's Ballon d'Or. We can get to that. Yep. In my opinion, he should have won it. But that's still Mbappe's team. Mbappe is the best player at Real Madrid. And this season, he showed it. Finished top scorer. In the beginning, it was a bit slower for Mbappe, but then he picked up the pace. He was getting better and better, scoring the goals. And in the El Clásico for the Supercopa España versus Barca, when we were in Montreal, what was it? Was that the Supercopa España?
When he scored the free kick?
No. When fucking Lamine Yamal went crazy and he started dancing. Is it Supercopa España?
He danced. No. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's Supercopa, right? Yeah. And that game. Sorry. That game. Mbappe was the only player for Real Madrid doing something.
Yeah, 100%.
And that game also showed how they're lacking in midfield. I mean,
they're lacking in organization.
Bro, Gavi, Lamine, Pedri were dominating the shit out of that midfield. Like, it showed how much. But also, that game showed me that Mbappe is the only player that was like fighting for the team, and he was the only player who played actually good. And like I said, stats speak for itself. I mean, he finished top scorer with what, 31 goals, 33 goals, something of that sort?
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
And I think he's top scorer of Europe, like all top 5 leagues. He finished top scorer, so he's gonna win the European Golden Boot. No, he finished with 28.
Oh, you're talking about the league, like Golden Boot.
Yeah, Golden Boot, yeah.
I think so. I think he's going to win.
European Golden, yeah, he's going to win it.
I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure about
it. Mbappe finished with 31 goals, Lewandowski 27. He's second, 20.
Mbappe playing out of position, by the way.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. And like it or not, if you put Mbappe, like this is how I say it, you have Mbappe, he's your best player. Where's the best position for him? Put him there, and then let's build in a way around him. Of course.
There's no problem. That's how they should build their team. And like you said, yes, selling Vini is something like wow, but like you have Mbappe. Like you're not gonna see a weakness. In contrary, you're gonna see a fucking progress in the team. Of course, you go get the profiles that you need, and I think that's also coming back to Ancelotti. Ancelotti, great manager, by the way.
Yeah, very successful, bro. He won like 7 Champions League and shit.
Very successful Champions League wise, but league wise, he's not consistent because he's the type of coach that similar to Lucho but less tactical than Lucho. Lucho is very tactical.
Oh, he's very. Yo,
He's a guy
Lucho's
that
everything.
he tactically, Ancelotti is not the best, but player-manager relation, he knows how to manage players. So he gives a lot of freedom to the players. And in tournaments, it works because individual brilliance gets you out of muds. One game, that's it. Then you think about the next one. In league-wise, he can't win a league like that. If he sees his record in leagues, he's not that good in leagues.
No.
I think he's won, I'm not sure, 2-3 leagues in like 13 years of coaching. It's not that good for a coach that won
Of his level.
4-3 Champions League. 5? Was it 5 or
No, as a player or as a coach? Altogether, he won 7. So I think he won like
6 or 5 as a coach.
Yeah, two as a player.
I mean, he's a great tournament coach.
Yeah.
League-wise,
it's a different game. But
they did well, Real Madrid. He got Xabi Alonso. Hopefully, he doesn't fold under pressure like Xavi
I don't think so.
But considering what he did to Leverkusen, I don't have doubt. It's going to be a great matchup with Hansi Flick.
I think Xabi Alonso is going to be a great fit for Real Madrid. I mean, we all saw it happening, right? Ex-Real Madrid player, midfielder, accomplished, played so well at Leverkusen, especially the first season. I mean, they did. I think they never lost a game, right? They did like one tie, or maybe they lost one game.
They lost one game, and it was the Europa League final.
Bro, that's fucking crazy, bro. Like, he went crazy. And I saw a couple of clips of him talking with the players, showing the players. I think he's a really good fit for Real Madrid. Like it or not, still, in my opinion, I don't see Real Madrid's season completely as a fluke, but considering their Real Madrid, considering the players they have,
100%.
Considering who they are, they need to do better,
They were
man.
champions the year before, and
They need to do better.
They lost a lot of big games.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
They lost all El Clásicos against Barcelona. 4 El Clásicos.
And 3 titles that they lost versus Barcelona. Because the Liga, Barcelona won the game. And the Super Cup, Barcelona won, destroyed them. And what's it called? Copa del Rey, Barcelona won. And on top of that, like you said, coming from the fact that you just signed Mbappe, and the team on paper is amazing. And they just won the Champions League the year before.
Yeah.
So their expectation was necessarily not to win, obviously to win.
Semi-final minimum.
Minimum,
Bro. Minimum.
Like, compete with Barcelona. And Barcelona wasn't expecting to progress as much this season. People were talking shit about Barcelona.
Yeah.
I was the kind of guy, I'm like, you know what, give a year to Flick.
Yeah.
Bro, the guy shut me up after a month.
Bro, Barca shut me up immediately. Like, in preseason talk with my brother, we were talking about Barca, what's going to happen. My brother had very high hopes. I was like, let's hope, because Barca's my team since I remember. But I was like, I don't know, they're very young, very good. Especially, I mean, coming out of the Euro, Yamal proved himself like a motherfucker. He went crazy that Euro. And then I was like, he's going to go crazy. But after like 2-3 games, they're like, okay, let's all shut the fuck up and just let the brilliance go. And it wasn't short term. The entire season, Barca went crazy. And to get back to El Clásicos, Barca didn't win against Real Madrid. They dominated against Real Madrid. And Real Madrid is a phenomenal team. On paper, in the beginning of the season, I thought Real Madrid had the best team on paper.
Yeah.
Now I think that maybe it's Barca, bro.
Because Barca have a balanced team, and giving those youngsters, because Barcelona, the only thing saving them over the years is actually their academy.
Oh, La Masia, that's crazy. Oh my God, bro.
For me, I'm like, that's another argument for another day or maybe later. Like, what's a top club for me, right? And having that academy really helped Barcelona, especially financially.
Of course,
they were
bro.
like in the fucking what? They're fucking death.
Bro, they couldn't re-sign Messi.
Nothing. They couldn't
imagine that.
They couldn't even sign players. We had to buy players free. I'm talking as a Barcelona, but like Barcelona had to sign players for free to get them out of like situations. But they weren't like Memphis Depay, a good player, but he's not Barcelona.
He's not Barca level, bro. Like, let's stop the cap.
Aguero, they signed Aguero. He played 2 games and he had his heart condition.
Yeah.
He was a good signer. Actually, I was actually having high hopes. But you know what I mean? Those type of players. But bringing back Hansi Flick, and Barca needed that guy, man. Like I said, bro. They need that guy with the young core. And they needed someone outside of Spain. Like I always say, I have high respect for German coaches in the sense of like, they're very strong-willed.
Of course, German people.
Very mature, and they're very like, and I think that Barca team lacked discipline. And they needed someone to bring back hope to those players. And Hansi Flick was perfect for that. And you told me if Hansi Flick is going to stay over the years, I still think Hansi Flick is going to stay 2 more years and then he's going to leave.
You think 2 years? Because how I say it, like, yes, you said German coaches are very, like, I mean, it's German mentality, bro. Very disciplined, right? Like, let's get the work done, be humble, and let's do the work. I think that's really good, especially with a team as young as Barca. Like it or not, imagine being a young 17-year-old and you're destroying Real Madrid, it can go easily up to your head. And you don't want it to go up to your head because it's going to fuck you up later.
100%.
Messi, what happened, that's a phenom. He was always humble.
Yeah.
He could destroy a team. He would go home, sleep like nothing happened.
He doesn't care.
and get back. Get back. Ronaldinho would destroy a team and go party and have fun with bitches. You know what I mean? That's different. But Messi was something else. I feel like these players, I mean, they're humble, but not like Messi. But it's good to have Hans Flick, who's gonna keep them under check. Yo, like put in the fucking work. Like you're not God. 100%. Put in the work. That has to happen.
And you see it. Like I said in the beginning, it's the mentality shift of that team. That's the most underrated. Yes, in terms of playing style, entertainment, and dominating the game, scoring a lot of goals. Obviously, that's why we watch football. But you have to look at outside the box, the mentality of that team. Look at every Barca player's interview this season. The way they speak, they're humble.
They have to.
Last season, they were giving excuses, and Xavi was one of the reasons why he was giving a lot of excuses. All the refs, the grass was too wet, the grass was too dry, the sun was too bright. He was giving excuses like that, and the players were using the same thing because at the end of the day, you follow your coach.
Of course, he's a leader.
Yeah.
Especially if you have really young players.
And there are a bunch of sore losers, Barcelona. I'm gonna say it. I'm a Barca fan. I'm gonna say last year they were very like giving excuses. I'm like, fuck, man. When it's time to move on, and look at this season, man. Even if we're gonna talk about the officiating wasn't that good towards Barcelona.
Yeah.
Very, very effy. Enter game. The Real Madrid last game.
Yeah, it always happens.
Hansi Flick was like, don't blame the referees. Our fault that we lost, or we're not playing well. The players too. They're not complaining, and that's something that we need it, and that's something that's gonna be helpful for the future of these players.
Especially if, in my opinion, how I see it with managers, how I always saw it is, if you have very talented players, they already know what to do on the pitch. A manager, what's really important for a manager, and I felt like Jurgen Klopp, German, was phenomenal for this. His mentality and the way he knows he has people skills, human skills. He knows how to talk to players. He knows how to motivate them. He knows how to keep them under check. Whatever. He has people skills. And I feel like for a manager in football, soccer, European football, where it's not like American football, tactics, you have to write up tactics, and you have to look at your team. Then okay, we're gonna play this play. In basketball also, soccer, it's get on the pitch, play the ball. You can do whatever you want on the pitch. Don't touch the ball 100%. With your hand. So I feel like in soccer and football, managers are really important to be psychologically good with their players, especially if they're young. They can get easily disoriented. But I feel like Hansi Flick, Germans are really good when it comes to that. Jurgen Klopp is a prime example.
Shout out to Jurgen.
Prime example. Arne Slot, I felt like he was a really good manager for Liverpool. We're going to get to that.
Enrique's like that.
Enrique. But also what I like is Spanish coaches. Nowadays, if you have Luis Enrique, Pep Guardiola, Mikel Arteta, Xabi Alonso, they're all masterminds and they're Spanish.
But that's like you said, Jurgen Klopp you have to have a balance between, I say like 60% tactical, 60, 65, 35%, 40%, like you said, player skills. Like
I think it's 50-50. I think it's 50-50. In my opinion, it's 50-50 to be honest.
But you need to have that. And Ancelotti was very good at the people skill. I think he was one of the best.
Yeah, really.
Tactically, he was lacking. You know, Lucha Enrique is the perfect example of like balance.
Perfect balance.
Pep Guardiola. Over the years, Pep Guardiola also. You know, but Pep Guardiola is just very like, the Spanish people.
Yeah, Pep Guardiola, I think he's more tactical than people skills.
Yeah,
I feel like Mourinho has amazing people skills. Like players want to die for him on the pitch. Mourinho,
they love him.
Tactically, he's a bit too defensive. Yeah. I don't like it. But people skills, I think Mourinho is phenomenal.
If you were to ask me right now, who I would rather sit and just have a drink, I would say Mourinho.
Oh, bro,
Mourinho looks fucking like a hand guy, man.
Yo, Mourinho looks like the guy you would sit at a bar and have a drink with him, and you would just have fun.
Oh, you would just
laugh, talk about shit and just laugh the entire time. I feel like Pep Guardiola would be more like a little bit of a nerd or whatever.
Yeah, nerd. Like those,
don't say that. We're not allowed to think about. But Mourinho wouldn't give a fuck.
You know what I mean? You need to have a balance, and a lot of coaches lack that. You know, so
a lot, especially in European football. I swear. Like, let me get back to the Barca, the prime Barca, 2009, 2011. Like those players, do you really need to tell them how to play? Like, I mean, bro,
the basics. Not even the basics.
Just tell them, you're that position, cover that.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jesus Christ, like, yes, I'm not taking away Pep Guardiola's magic. He's a genius. I'm not taking away that magic. But let's not take away also the fact that Barca team had Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Dani Alves, Eric Abidal, Puyol, Piqué, Pedro, David Villa. I mean, Victor Valdes. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. So yes, Pep Guardiola went crazy, but that team, that's what I want to get back to is they don't need tactical advice.
Yeah.
They don't. They just need a good people guy, just like Jurgen Klopp was and many other managers.
But that brings back to what you said in your last podcast about how Luis Enrique is I love Luis Enrique, by the way, and I know how much you love him even more.
Bro,
you
I
know?
adore him.
But I think coaches have it, especially nowadays, coaches want to play too robotic.
Yeah, I hate
They're
that.
too robotic. They're too into instruction. But you need, like you said last time, you have players where you don't need to give them instructions. Like they're so technically gifted and generational talents, and they already have a high IQ on the game. They have to let them do what they need.
Let
to
it
do.
happen.
But have a structure of the team, a tactic of the team. Tell your player, those type of players what to do. But at the same time, don't tell them what to do.
Yeah.
They know what to do.
Of course.
You know, and that's why Barcelona succeeded with MSN is that Lucho gave freedom to Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. You can't tell Neymar and Messi
Don't dribble.
touch.
Oh,
Don't dribble.
bro, you fucking crazy,
You know, or
bro.
like, don't be yourself. You have to let them be there.
Those type of players, you cannot predict it on paper what they're gonna do. You just put them on the pitch.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
You have to, and like we said, that's why I love Lucho Enrique so much. With Desiree Doué, Bradley Barcola, those players. At the end of the day, when you have those type of players, you cannot put them in a robotic system.
Yeah.
Why? Maybe in your mind you're gonna feel like more secure, whatever, before the game, but when shit hits the fan and when it's time to play the game, it's just gonna fuck up everything. Football is all about magic.
Yeah,
it's always been like that.
It's entertainment.
It's always gonna be like that.
Nowadays, we're not even watching footy because footy is boring now. But thanks to the Enriquez, thanks to the Hansi Flick, we're finally seeing entertainment again. You know? That's what we watch for, right?
Of course.
We watch to see our team win. But if your team wins 1-0 and the game there's no shots, I'm not gonna enjoy the game. I don't give a fuck about the win at the end of the day. Yes, sometimes you need to scratch a few wins depending on the competition, like, you know. But most of the time you're watching it for entertainment and to have fun.
Of course.
You know, you like to see the skills, you like to see scoring a lot of goals, you know. And that's why Lucho, I have high respect for him, and Hansi Flick bringing back
high respect.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it, when we started watching football at 5, 6, 7, we didn't really care if our team won. We watched because, oh my God, look what Messi did, look what Neymar did, look what it's the wow. I started off with Kaká. Kaká was my first favorite player. He was amazing, right? And then Messi came along. I was like, holy shit! And then of course you fall in love. You get older and like, okay, let's win this league. Let's win the Champions League, whatever.
Obviously,
But starting off as a fan, you watch YouTube clips, YouTube videos, whatever. And that's what makes you fall in love with football. And like it or not, like I said, and this is one of my arguments why I think football is so popular around the world, is the sport gives you so much freedom on the pitch. You can do whatever you want as long as you don't touch the ball with your hand. Like let's say basketball, don't double dribble. You have 24 seconds. There's a lot of things that's why tactics make sense in those sports, just like American football, because there's a lot of rules. So okay, let's have tactics.
Play the game.
But European football, soccer, there's no rules. Just don't touch the ball with your hands. Don't be offside.
Exactly.
So do whatever you have to do. And time, again, proves it. The Champions League final, get back to it. PSG, they let their players play their magic. Bro, how they dissected Inter, bro. When Desiree Doué, Bradley Barcola, when he almost scored his goal. Bro, that just shows, man, football, you have to let magicians do their magic.
Inter were also Inter didn't have the best players, but they were very systematic.
3-5-2.
3-5-2. Everyone has their role, whatever. And I guess sometimes you have to play that way because you don't have the players to play.
That's what happens.
That's to bring back what we said initially. The type of players that you let them play with freedom are they're generational talents. They're players that you don't see often. But when you do have a type of player like that, you have to let them be, you know? And the name, like you said, the Neymars, the Messis, the Dembele, the Doué, the Lamine Yamal, let them cook.
Exactly. And I feel like sometimes managers, what can happen is if they don't put their ego to the side, they're going to want to implement more their style than just letting the magician player do his magic. But being able to recognize talent and then being able to let him do his magic is also a managerial skill, is to know when to let someone play and who to let play. Right? Of course, you're not going to let anyone, you're not going to let Sergio Roberto do whatever he wants. Like, you know what I mean? He doesn't have the skill set. But you're going to let Neymar do whatever he wants because that's fucking Neymar. So I feel like that's a big skill that some managers don't realize, that you need to have that skill, is to know and to realize who you need to let play and to know when to let him play.
Exactly. Like Lucho,
it's a big skill.
Lucho and Flick, they're the type of players, type of coach that give freedom, especially Lucho, give freedom, but also put some instructions, you know?
Yeah.
You see clips of Lucho not bashing, like talking to
screaming, bro,
screaming. And you need coaches like that because only the coaches with the bigger balls are bound to have success, you know?
Of course.
Because yes, you can have the freedom or whatever, but you have to be you do this. I let you play whatever you want, but you have to do this. It's a compromise.
It's a balance.
Right? It's a balance.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
So it's a big balance. Like we said, you need to know. And I feel like that's why Lucha is one of my favorite, because I feel like he has that perfect balance, man.
100%.
As perfect as it can get. No one's perfect. Nothing is perfect. But as perfect as it can get, I feel like nowadays, man, he has a balance. And since 2015, I saw that, man. I was just like, bro, I love that, bro. I fucking phenomenal, man. Yo, Matt Perry, how long have we been rolling? Okay, let's talk about a little bit about the Premier League. Okay, so Liverpool, in my opinion, the beginning of the season, how they played, bro. I said in many episodes with my brother, I said, bro, Barca are amazing. But in the Champions League, everyone has to fear Liverpool because the way they were playing, man, they were so good. They had the skills for it. They had the players, and they played very offensive football and very technical. They were really, really good. I mean, they won the league with 84 points, second Arsenal with 74 points. It's a big differential. But in Champions League, I thought if someone was to ask me, beginning of the season, beginning of the Champions League, who's going to win, like you have to put a bet, I would have put Liverpool.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember watching Liverpool play, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, they're fucking destroying teams and they're playing so well.
But they went down after.
They went down, man.
After the first leg versus Paris, they went down. Like, they had the league already like buckled up, let's say, like they had it secured, but they started going down, and I don't know. I feel like in the beginning of the season, in my predictions, I had Liverpool to win the league, not because I thought they're gonna dominate, just because like Arsenal's are ballers, bro. Like flops, Arsenal never win.
Yeah, no.
You know? And City. I just saw the City team becoming old.
Decline. Rodri not being there, De Bruyne being injured. I mean,
De Bruyne old, Gundogan, like they're old players playing too. You know, they need a change. So in my prediction, I had Liverpool, Arsenal, and City third, and I actually got the top.
Yeah, you got the top three. Yeah,
but it was supposed to be Arsenal to win it, and the league this season, it wasn't. I don't personally. I know you're going to disagree with me on that. I don't think Liverpool dominated the league. I just think that like. The league was so weak. Like, the bigger teams were not that good.
Yeah, especially Man City, man.
They took advantage of that.
Yeah.
And obviously, shout out, they took advantage, in the league.
You have to do it.
But it was Arsenal's years to win it. Because Arsenal were finishing second with 90-plus points. And finishing 90-plus points under Pep Guardiola, who's been winning leagues left, right, and center every year. It's a lot of points. It's like in no other league, you get 90-plus points and you lose the league. But because Pep is so fucking good in the league, Jurgen Klopp was getting 98, 99 points, 97, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you never saw that in history. But Arsenal were supposed to win this year, but Arsenal were just chokers, bro. Like, the big games that they had to win. They were winning the big games. They were losing the shittier games or drawing the shittier games. You know, so I think it was supposed to be Arsenal to win it. But, hey, Liverpool got the win. They got the league.
And like, in my opinion, it's not like... Whenever you win the Premier League, it's never a flop season.
Yeah.
It's never like... I mean, however you win it, like it or not, it's 38 games. So it's not. It can never be like luck. Like let's say in the Euro with Greece, whatever. No. It's 38 games, man. You cannot be lucky over 38 games. It's they showed their class. Arsenal really surprised me this season. Like in the beginning of the season, I didn't have Arsenal finishing second. I had them top 4. I had them for the Champions League. Top 5. Now it's top 5. But finishing second, Arsenal really surprised me. Man City, I knew that they weren't going to win the league because. When you got Rodri injured, like or not, Rodri's an amazing player. De Bruyne is older.
The most important players, you saw it.
And he's going to leave now, De Bruyne also. So, I mean, it affected Man City a lot. But I'm happy they finished third because there was once a time where they weren't even in the top 5. So, they weren't even going to play in Champions League. So, I was like...
Who, City or
Yeah, City.
Yeah.
There was like a time they weren't even in the top 5. I was like, Jesus Christ. But like it or not, Man City, they did what they had to do. Like or not, I mean, in the past 7 years, they won. In the past 8 years, they won 6 Premier League titles.
League, and not just like you had a prime Liverpool team. Jurgen Klopp's team.
Yeah.
You know,
phenomenal.
Jurgen Klopp's team. If City wasn't there, they were winning it every year because
of course.
Or like even during this Sir Alex era, I would think Liverpool would win the league. You know.
Yeah.
But anyways, so winning 6 Prems in 8 years. Like,
it's crazy.
You know how the Prem, you're having the hardest league in the world to win, right? The hardest league, and they're winning 6 on.
But you see, this season, in the beginning, I thought Premier League was the greatest league, but now I think it's La Liga. Who do you have number 1? I have La Liga. I think it's very tight between Premier League and La Liga.
I have an argument for that. So I think playing in La Liga is harder than playing in the Prem, in the sense of like La Liga style of football is very hard,
very technical,
tight spaces,
slower.
Slower. You know what I mean? Prem is more entertaining to watch.
Get the ball up front.
It's
always been like that. It's always been like
that. You know, I'm a Barcelona guy, but I love watching the Prem.
The Premier League has always been the most competitive league.
Yeah, competitive.
Always.
But I think if, let's say, but that's my opinion, if let's say like one of the like middle teams in Prem would play in La Liga, they would struggle. Because the La Liga teams are so like, and they're so tactical in La Liga.
Yeah.
And the Prem, obviously, they're both tactical. They're the both biggest league in the world. But the Prem is less tactical, but more like fun and entertaining.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
The funnest league to watch and to cover
The
and
fans
to
are
follow
amazing. Oh my
is the
God.
Premier League by far.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Barca fan and I love La Liga, but in altogether, the culture, the fans, the style of play, the competitiveness, having 6 big teams. Now, Tottenham, maybe it's not a big team anymore, but still, like it or not, they have many big clubs that, like it or not, La Liga, Barca, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
After that, you don't really give a fuck.
100%.
You know what I mean? But Premier League, like, is the funnest league by far.
I think the toughest league to play is La Liga. The toughest league to win is the Prem. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, no, of course, because there's more competitive
100%,
competition.
yeah.
And the Premier League, there's way more competition than La Liga. But La Liga, of course, like we said, different style of play. Premier League is very fun to watch. Of course, they have technique. Now with the arrival of Pep Guardiola since the past couple of years, there's more technique, whatever. But Premier League remains the Premier League. It's
Premier League.
fast-paced.
English football.
It's fast.
Yeah.
You can hit more, like the refs give you more loose to hit, whatever. But yeah, it's more fun to watch. But I feel like if Barca and Real Madrid were to go to the Premier League, they would finish first and second every single time.
I think so too.
Like almost every single time. You know, I think it would be like complete domination.
It'd be harder for them to win.
Yeah.
But I think they're just, because they're such like, there's nowadays
High level clubs.
High level, you know. But I think if Man City, let's say, because Man City's style of football is very, like, it's more closer to La Liga.
Yeah.
You know, they would win La Liga too, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, I mean, Chelsea. I want to get back to Liverpool. So, yeah, because there's so many things I want to touch. Arne Slot.
Yeah.
I feel like he's a really good coach, but at the same time, I feel like Jurgen Klopp left him a really good team. It's not like he came out of nowhere and Liverpool they had nothing, and then he came and he built something from nothing.
Exactly.
He's a good coach, Arne Slot. He's really good, but I feel like he's not. I think he's a bit overrated. Maybe it's just the media outlets that I follow that maybe a little bit overrated him. But I feel like Jurgen Klopp did leave him like a major club.
That's what differentiates a good manager and a great manager. Jurgen Klopp left, but he left the team at a great base.
Yeah, of course.
That team didn't need, that team just needed a little fix.
Couple of tweaks here and there.
Like a car. I buy a new used car, very good. Need a few
oil change, whatever. Yeah.
The rim needs fixing or whatever. But the car is there and it can be like driven any day. And I think that's why Jurgen Klopp is amazing. And you said Slot came in, he took the team and he did a few fixes, but hey, the team was already good, right?
Yeah.
You know, but you need a good coach also to do those fixes.
And to keep it going also, not to fuck up things.
Consistency, you know what I mean? You don't leave a team like at its lowest. If you leave a team at its lowest, that means for me that you didn't do a good job of.
Of course. But I feel like Jurgen Klopp, when he took Liverpool was nothing. And he created something. Jurgen Klopp, great manager.
Yeah.
He did something. Arne Slot, a bit overrated, but still, he won the league. Had a good beginning of the season, very strong beginning of the season, especially beginning of the season. But like we said, he took it from Jurgen Klopp, which, in my opinion, Jurgen Klopp made like something really big out of Liverpool.
He inherited a good team,
very good team, and very good.
Yeah. But you have to give credit to Arne Slot too. People think, oh, he already had a good team, but to maintain that team and to have someone, because they have a lot of egos in that team. Trent, Van Dijk, Salah, you know, they're all big ego players. But he came in.
Well, accomplished a lot in the past already.
You know, so they, like, having a guy, like, with a bigger ego than Jurgen Klopp is hard. Arne Slot came in, he had his ego at the same level and was able to manage those players, and they won the league, so yeah.
Yeah, really good. Okay, what do you think about Man United right now, bro? They finished 15th.
Man United is a club that has been, we're going to talk, you know how we talked about Jurgen Klopp now, leaving Slot a good team. I think Sir Alex left the team that wasn't, because he left the team and the team started to decline, right?
Yeah, ever since 2012, 2013.
2012, 13, and I think Man United are just playing career mode, man.
Bro.
They're playing FIFA career mode. They buy players, but they don't need that type of player. Like, they're just buying a lot of type of profiles to try to fit it into one game or one style of play, but you can't do that. You have to have certain profiles, and they don't have consistency over, like, I think it was a board problem too with the boards.
I think it's a, I mean, I talk with Luca so much. I mean, I think it's just a dumpster fire at this point. Bro.
Idiot team.
It's not for the past 5 years, the past 13 years,
Yeah,
12 years, 13, whatever.
By the way, yeah.
Yeah, Man United, bro.
The
Like
biggest club in England.
the kings of football, them and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Like, they're the two biggest clubs in all of football. And they're finishing 15th. Now, Ruben Amorim, okay, he came. Everyone had big hopes because he did so well for Sporting at Portugal, whatever. But they finished 15th.
It's a whole different
Not even
game.
top 10.
Fuck.
Like, finishing top 10 is like, you're Man United. Finishing 15th.
I
mean, I think Man United is just like a dumpster fire, bro, for the past 13 years.
That team needs a fucking
Cleansing.
a reset button, you know?
A
Reset
full
button.
cleansing. Full.
Everything from management to direction.
Everything, bro.
Management to whatever to every player because they just have a lot of players from different areas and different backgrounds.
Doesn't even make sense anymore.
Yeah,
Doesn't.
they have like 4 Serie A players. They have 4 La Liga players. Like I'm saying an example. You know what I mean? Like
it makes no sense.
From different leagues
And
around the world.
like I said, like even when I try to think about Man United, the future, like when you think about Barca, bright future.
Yeah.
Now, of course, anything can happen,
100%.
but in general, bright future. When I think about Man United for the next 5 years, I don't see them getting any better.
No.
Like how?
I don't know.
Like let's think about it rationally. How would they get better?
I actually have no answer whatsoever to that question.
Same goes when I was at Luca. We were both clueless. Yeah. We had nothing to say. And like I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, maybe new players, but who wants to go play
Even
there?
their stadium apparently is falling apart.
Bro,
they have leaks, they have floods and all that. Ronaldo was saying there's like, Cristiano Ronaldo when he left, he said there's problems beyond the, like, I'm like, damn, like that club is going to shambles.
It's crazy, man. And considering that they were the kings of the Premier League with Sir Alex Ferguson, the kings for decades.
No one was touching them, you know?
It was crazy, man. But actually, Man United, I mean, I don't know what kind of advice to give them, but I think it's just, and Tottenham finishing 17th, bro. Almost close to getting, close. I mean, not close points-wise, but still, I mean, they finished 17th. If they would have finished 18, they would have got relegated.
And they won the Champions League, right? Because they won the Europa League. For me, that, like...
Yeah, they're playing the Champions League under 17. That's how...
For me, like, it's still, like, considering the fact that, like, winning the Europa League gives them the Champions League spot, I guess you can say somehow it's a... Not successful season, but like an okay great season, you know? But let's say they won the Europa League, there's no qualification Champions League, it would have been one of the worst seasons in history.
Of course.
You can't finish 17 being Tottenham. 17, so 18, 19, 20, you get relegated, right?
Yeah, of course.
You know, I'm not going to say they got lucky, but like, yeah, they sure are lucky that Europa League leads them to Champions League because no way in hell that a team that finish 17 qualifies for the Champions League.
No, that doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. You guys won the Europa League, yes.
Did you watch the Europa League?
The final? No, I didn't.
I watched it.
How was it?
It was the most awful final I ever watched.
Well, it was Man United against Tottenham, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it's going to be awful. What the fuck?
Like,
of course.
I'm talking awful, like, I'm talking like, even like Premier League relegation team and La Liga relegations team
would play better.
Like, it was awful, man. They couldn't even get 5 passes together. You saw 2 teams unorganized, just one team were able to score a goal. It was boring, man. It was boring.
I honestly, I mean, Man United fans are going to be so mad at me for saying this, but I think we have to reconsider what are the big 6 in the Premier League.
100%.
Because I'm sorry, finishing 15th and Tottenham finishing 17th, do you guys still deserve to be called the big 6 in the Premier League? No. I mean, Newcastle, they're making big fucking moves right now, and they're proving it game after game, season after season. They finished 5th. They're going to qualify for the Champions League. Nottingham Forest, I'm sad they finished 7th, but they were playing so well with Gibbs White, Elanga. Their style of play. Nottingham Forest finishing 2nd. I'm 7th. I mean, they were playing so well.
Europa League?
No, it didn't. Aston Villa qualified.
Okay, so they made the conference league, you know?
Yeah.
But they still made a European spot. They didn't make it last year. Yeah.
I mean, Man United fans, I'm sorry, but do we have to reconsider the big 6?
I agree with you.
And Spurs fans also. I mean, finishing 17th, I'm sorry, but do you know what kind of disgrace that is?
I would rather finish 3rd or 2nd or 4th even in the season and not win anything than finish 17 and win the Europa League. And I'm not even kidding because at the end of the day, you have to judge the season as a whole. Yes, titles, obviously we judge on titles, but it's all context. You have to look at the context, you know what I mean?
Of course. Yes, they won the Europa, but it's a tournament. Greece, when they won 2004 Euro, were they considered the greatest team in Europe? No. I don't care how many Euro titles you win. I don't care what happened in that tournament. You won the tournament, yes, because like Europa League, maybe you won that game and then you were lucky. Like, so many shit can happen. At the end of the day, Greece were never considered a big team in Europe, even if they won the Euro. Even that year, we're like, yeah, you guys are 100%. Still shit. Same goes for Tottenham. You guys, yes, perfect. You won the Europa League. Better to win that than to not win it, right? I mean, might as well fucking win it if we're already there. But after 38 games, you guys finished 17th. And Man United finished 15th after 38 games. You guys aren't in top 6 anymore, man.
No.
I'm sorry. Newcastle are entering 100%. It. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
For over like a couple of years now. So we can't consider them.
Bro, I'm sorry. And I remember in 2015 or 16 when Jose Mourinho was managing Man United and he finished second with Man United in the league.
Yeah.
And then in a press conference, he said, and he's a big manager. Yeah. He accomplished a lot, Mourinho. And he said, this is my biggest accomplishment in my entire career, finishing second with this Man United team, finishing second. I'm not gonna lie,
I was hating on that. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy saying? Is he delusional? Like,
but now...
Is he a sore loser? But now looking back at it, and you reminded me of, I'm like, you know what? He might have a point.
He was right. And I talked with Luca about this. I'm like, when he said it, everyone said the same thing. So I'm like, bro, is he out of his mind? Like, they finished second, they didn't win anything.
That comes back for pressure, man.
But when Mourinho said that, and now 10 years later, we're all like, yeah, he was right, actually.
Yeah, 100%.
Bro.
I look at, like, you just reminded me. I'm like, yeah, he might be right. You know, but that's why I say Barcelona and Man United are the most hardest club to coach and manage. I'm not saying...
You think so? Barca and Man United?
The pressure to coach at Barcelona and Man United, like I said,
the pressure is huge. Yeah.
It's huge, man. You know, obviously, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, they're all clubs that have a lot of pressure. But those teams, they have so much they have so much expectation and standards. That's why I said coaches don't last at Barcelona. 3-4 years, you're out. Maximum. The Rijkaard stayed 2-3 years.
Pep Guardiola stayed 4 years.
4 years he left because he knew. Pep Guardiola.
He knew after this, I'm not going to win anymore with him. He knew.
He knows, you know. Tito,
Villanova, rest in peace.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Tata Martino stayed 1 year.
Tata, I hated Tata Martino, bro. Oh my God, bro. Tata Martino was busting my balls, bro. Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, I remember that season. That season was... We had some great games, and then we had some games I'm like, what the fuck?
Was that the first season when Neymar came? Yeah, 2013, 14. Yeah.
Neymar was so young from Santos.
Bro, yeah. 14, 15 actually when he came.
He came 13, 14.
Yeah, 13, 14. Yeah, with the McDonald's jersey. Yeah.
Exactly.
That was one of the worst jerseys. I'm sorry, bro. I hate that jersey with the yellow and.
It was not nice.
But okay. Also, one thing I want to touch on. In the beginning of the season, high talks of Mohamed Salah winning the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
Now I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it again. He's not gonna win the Ballon d'Or. It's impossible. But still, I feel like he had a very good season, finishing top scorer of the Premier League with 29 goals. Second, Isak with 23.
Yeah.
Erling Haaland third with 22. And also finishing top assist maker with 18 assists.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of assists, man. I mean, I think Lamine Yamal finished first in La Liga with 13 or 11 assists.
Yeah.
Mohamed Salah has 18 assists. And he's the top scorer with 29 goals.
That's crazy.
So stats-wise, he had an amazing season, Mohamed Salah. Now, he cannot win the Ballon d'Or. No. I'm sorry, he's not the best player. Of course, what happened is he's in a team where they helped him a lot to get goals and assists. And also, for me, Ballon d'Or, stats are important, but they're not the most important for the Ballon d'Or. It's how you play as a player.
It's how you play.
How you play.
It's the storyline, too.
But I'm sorry, also, Mohamed Salah had an amazing season. I mean, people can hate all they want, but to put up 29 goals... Top goal scorer in the Premier League and to be top assist maker with 18 assists.
And he beat Thierry Henry's records in the Premier League. You know, so...
He deserves his flowers this season.
I'm similar to you. I'm not a fan of stats.
I'm not,
you know, because stats sometimes cover a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know? But he's a forward, right? So obviously I have to judge him a bit on stats, especially he's playing like a right winger / striker. You know, he goes more...
He's not a creative right winger. He's more like a scorer right winger.
Exactly. He's
like a left winger Ronaldo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But... I gotta, like, he's debatably one of the greatest, like the greatest, not one, the greatest Prem player of all
time. You think so?
Debatably, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because
I don't think so, to be honest. I would put him top 5, maybe, but not the greatest.
Because the thing is, you have to look at it on a long term, right? And he's been having those numbers every season. Like, it's... No one does that, you know what I mean?
No, he's amazing player.
He did that for every season.
So you think he's a better Prem player than Thierry Henry?
I think Thierry Henry is a better talent than Salah.
Obviously.
But Salah has a better Premier League legacy in a sense of like he accomplished more in the Prem than Thierry Henry.
I'm gonna club that, bro. Arsenal fans and Thierry Henry fans are gonna be mad after you.
I love Thierry Henry, and I think he's a better player, but Salah has a better...
Okay, so maybe are you saying that like only looking at Premier League accomplishments and all his stats and what he did in the Prem, he's the greatest Prem player?
Yeah. But as a talent, Thierry Henry is better.
Yeah, of course.
100%.
Ronaldo's better.
Ronaldo, a lot of players.
De Bruyne,
Hazard is a better player.
Hazard,
yeah,
bro.
you know. But like, for what he did, it's all about consistency. It's all about winning. It's all about stats too. That's how you judge greatness of a player, right? And he did all of that.
Yeah.
He won the Champions League with Liverpool. They haven't won it since, was it what, 2007?
Yeah, 2006.
2006
and in Istanbul. Against AC Milan.
They won the Prem in first time in like what? They haven't won the Prem in 20, 30 years?
Yeah.
Whatever. Every season he was top 3 goal scorer and top 3 assists and the most assists. Like that's fucked up. And you had the Harry Kanes, the Hazard in the Prem. They had other players. You had the what's it called? Aguero.
Aguero was a phenomenal.
Kevin De Bruyne. Like putting stats over those players, it's not easy. Like you have those type of players.
I would put him top 5. I wouldn't put him number 1. I mean, in the top 5, I would have not in order. I would have Thierry Henry, De Bruyne. I'll put Hazard because his talent was just. I'm sorry, but his talent, bro. When he took the ball and the way he dribbled, it was like it was a right-footed Messi, bro. It was crazy. So I would have Hazard, Thierry Henry, De Bruyne, Salah, Aguero and Yaya Toure also.
Rooney.
There's so many good players. Yeah, Rooney would also be I forgot Rooney. Yeah, but I feel like
Aguero, I agree with you, and Yaya Toure too. But
I feel like Yaya Toure is very underrated.
Yeah, he is.
I feel like he's highly underrated. Highly underrated.
Highly underrated. But yeah, man, to talk about the stats, he won't win the Ballon d'Or.
No.
Because of the fact that like it's again, I'm repeating myself. It's consistency. You saw Liverpool declining. No one was talking about Liverpool.
Yeah, I know.
You know? And you have to perform in the Champions League too, you know? And because Champions League has so much prestigious value, yet, again, it's harder to win the Prem, but it's more prestigious to win the Champions League.
Of course. The Champions League is number 1.
It's number 1.
It's always number 1.
The Champions League, Champions League, whatever. Like, you can have a shit season, win the Champions League, no one talks about you.
Yeah, because you won basically the highest trophy in Europe, meaning you're the greatest club in Europe.
Yeah, the greatest competition in Europe, right?
Of course, by far.
The biggest, you know? But it's prestigious. And I felt in the Champions League, when it came time to perform,
they weren't there, man. When did they get kicked out? Quarterfinals, round of 16?
Was it round of 16 or quarterfinals?
I think it was round of 16, man.
Round of 16 because after they played Aston Villa, PSG.
Yeah. And then they played Arsenal in the semifinals.
They beat all the 3 English teams. Wow, that's fucked up. I just noticed that.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, bro. Yeah, now they got round of 16, bro. That really shook me and that showed me, okay, bro, maybe.
And they got dominated. They just like...
I know, but round of 16... Yeah, Liverpool, Paris, they lost. Yeah. Well, I mean, they did draw Paris.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if they maybe would have drawn another team, maybe would have been different, but they got, they got dominated.
They got dominated. Like, that was just, like, they were just a bit lucky in the first leg.
Yeah.
They won 1-0, but they got fucking destroyed, man.
Yeah, I know.
Harvey Elliott scored a goal and whatever. Alisson was great in that game. But yeah, who do you think would win the Ballon d'Or?
So how I see it is, the beginning of the season, the first half of the season, I was all convinced on Rafinha. But start of 2025, Dembele is the best player at the start of 2025.
Yeah.
So how I see it is, the top 3 for me is the only 3 players who deserve to be in the Ballon d'Or talks is Rafinha, Dembele, and Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, those 3. And fourth one for me is Pedri.
Yeah.
I feel like people are going to put Pedri to the side. I mean, guys, he's the greatest midfielder on planet Earth, and he did so much for Barca, and he was so influential, so fucking good. When he came on for Borussia Dortmund in the Champions, oh my God, what a change, bro. 100%. What a change, bro.
I've been saying it. Remember we had...
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I've been saying it. I would put nothing to take away from Rafinha. Great season, bro. That guy had
amazing
stats,
season,
bro.
Amazing season.
You know, but if you judge Ballon d'Or, you have to look like it's eye test. You have to look.
It's all about eye test.
Because Rafinha is a great runner, finisher, scorer, ball striking. You know, but for me, you have to have more than that to win a Ballon d'Or.
Yes, you have to be. For me, you have to be the best fucking player.
It's your impact, right? And I was saying I would put Pedri before Rafinha for Ballon d'Or.
Really? Okay, but what will be your top 3?
Top 3 right now?
Yeah.
Like Lamine, Dembele for me are first because I'm being biased a bit towards Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
Second would be, I guess, yes, I would put Pedri before Rafinha, but they look at stats too to judge the Ballon d'Or, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like you have to have stats, and they're never gonna give it to.
So you have the same top 4 as me.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the only acceptable top 4. Salah shouldn't be there, Mbappe shouldn't be there.
Salah is 5th, Mbappe is 6th.
Vinny, I mean, like they shouldn't be in the top 4.
You know what I mean?
But I think I would give it to Dembele.
Dembele.
Why? Won the fucking Champions League, won the league, played so fucking well. Was the best player at Paris, PSG. And in my opinion, the way he plays, like when you look at eye test, how he plays, greatest player on planet Earth. And Lamine Yamal, just because he's younger, I feel like Lamine Yamal will be better than Dembele, 100%. But
God forbid,
he's
no injuries.
17. Yeah, God forbid, knock on wood. He's 17 and Dembele is 28.
Yeah.
Dembele is in his prime right now. And I feel like the Ballon d'Or is going to Dembele. He's going to win the Ballon d'Or.
I agree with you on that, but at the same time, I have I don't know. I have this argument with a couple of friends. I think a few days ago, they're all for Dembele and all that. But the thing about it is that Dembele started. He's already in a good team around him. Barcelona too. But how can I say this? That he's already playing in a system where if he's not there, yes, the team is going to be less shit, like a bit more shitter, but they're still going to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? However, Lamine Yamal has been putting. And Lamine Yamal in big games, every big game he's here.
He went crazy.
He went crazy
Every single big game.
Dembele, he went crazy in a lot of games, but he started performing in 2025. And that's
Like
why
crazy.
you have to look at the long term.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's for me why Lamine Yamal deserves it. But at the same time, like you said, they won't give it to a 17-year-old.
Of course. In my opinion, Lamine Yamal and Dembele, if
Because you know
I
he's going to win
decided
in the future. That's why they're not going to give it
if
to him.
I decided who gets a Ballon d'Or, like only I decide, I would be debating it for days and months between Lamine Yamal and Dembele.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, like Lamine Yamal, he didn't win the Champions League, but he won the league and he won the Supercopa and he won everything else.
Yeah.
He just didn't win the Champions League. But if you look at his performance, how he played every single, I'm sorry, people are gonna say, yeah, but he's 17, so they're gonna put that to the side. I'm sorry, he's still the greatest player on planet Earth.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if he's 17. I don't give a fuck about anything. When he plays on the pitch,
It's impact, man.
when he's on the pitch, he's the greatest player on planet Earth.
But you saw Barca. He went injured. Barca lost 3 games in a row in La Liga. You
No.
know, he came back.
Of course.
And all of a sudden, they came back on top. It's all about fucking, like I said, it's impact, eye test, and
The best player is not the one who scores the most goals. You can be also the best player
Yeah.
and score the most goals, but you can score 0 goals and be the best player.
100%. That's why I say fuck stats. But for
For Ballon d'Or.
for Ballon d'Or, they
They're all-
judge on stats.
I think Ronaldo affected that a little bit,
Yeah.
but hey, that's another discussion. Ronaldo affected that a little bit. In my opinion, Ballon d'Or has always been who's
Thank
the
you.
best player.
Thank you. Ronaldo
Who's the
effect.
best player?
Yeah.
You give him the Ballon d'Or. That's why, in my opinion, Messi should have every single year he played. He should have the Ballon d'Or because he was
That's
always the best.
Cristiano Ronaldo effect, right?
Of course, big effect.
Yeah, you know, but that's why I don't care about individual awards anymore.
Yeah.
Messi won all his Ballon d'Or. He should have won more, but like
We all like, in my opinion, like I said so many times, Messi should have 12 Ballon d'Ors.
I-
Like, I'm sorry, but every single year, even if Barca didn't play well, Messi was still the best player on planet Earth. I mean,
you can't stand here. You
Jesus
can't stand
Christ.
there and look at Messi and say he's not the best player.
Bro, come on,
You know,
like,
as long as that's why I say individual awards are stupid. If you want to
I
just
know.
judge based on one season, sure, whatever. But yeah,
and also for me, like I know Ballon d'Or, they showed their criteria and they put in team trophies.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they shouldn't put team trophies. Ballon d'Or should be simply for who is the best player
Yeah,
that year.
100%.
Even if his team is finishing 10th and they didn't win anything, but if he's the best player, he's the best player. Give him the Ballon d'Or. That's how we say Ballon d'Or.
like let's say Dembele didn't win the treble, only the Champions League, they would still consider giving it to Dembele because he won
Champions League. It's the most prestigious
But they
award.
disregard Lamine Yamal's performances in all the big games. I can
Every
name you
single
all
big
the
game.
big games that all the big games Barca played versus the
He
big
went
teams.
crazy.
He went crazy in
Every single-
There's not one game he didn't.
I know.
You know, and Barca won La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Super Cup.
Yeah.
They were 2 minutes away from reaching the Champions League final.
Yep.
Like you can't disregard that.
You
too,
can't.
know, because of the biggest competition, the Champions League.
Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, I know Lamine Yamal, like you said, knock on wood, if he doesn't get injured, he's gonna win.
Oh, bro, he's gonna.
So I don't-
He can easily win the Ballon d'Or next season, and he's gonna be shattering the record for the youngest player, which is previously being held by Ronaldo Fenomeno.
Yeah, how old was he?
21 or 20.
yeah.
No, 21 he was. He was 21 when he won the Ballon d'Or. 21, that was like the record. He's gonna win it. Bro, he has 3 more years to win it and shatter the record.
he's good.
Light work.
He light
But
work.
just to get back to the Ballon d'Or, if I had to put money on who's gonna win it, it's gonna be Dembele. I'm sorry, because he's 28. Age bias is gonna affect a lot the decision. But if I had the decision to give it to who, I'll be debating it for days and days between Lamine Yamal and Dembele. But only those 2 players.
You know what? Like at the end of the day, I'm more biased towards the Lamine. But if Dembele wins it, I won't be shocked. You know,
yeah.
because he also deserves it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Like
Yeah, he went
bro,
crazy.
He went crazy. Man. He changed. And what pisses me off is that. From Barcelona, he was good, but he was not consistent, man. At Barcelona, you know. But all of a sudden,
Dembele, at Barca.
I think it also comes back to the coaching. Dembele didn't have a he didn't have the best coaches at Barcelona. He had Valverde. Bro, that guy's a fucking.
If he would have had Lucha Enrique, but he was maybe a bit too young when he was
Like,
Lucha.
he came,
2015, then he was 18. Yeah, I was too young.
He came in 2018. Dembele.
Yeah, no, but I thought that if he had Lucha, but he was too young.
You know, it comes back to a manager. You know, if you have a good manager around you that like knows how to get the best out of you, and you see Dembele now. He's a fighter, bro.
Crazy.
Before he was just like not for vibe, but he was playing
talent.
To win. But you know, a bit like vibe. Now he's playing like you see him how he presses. It's like fuck. It's like he's killing he's fighting for his life.
Yeah.
And Lucho, bro, again.
Especially in the final, bro. Dembele was fighting like a motherfucker,
that's
bro.
a coaching, man.
Yeah, bro.
You know?
And I feel like Dembele at Barca, because we all saw his talent. His talent is generational, bro. Dembele. First of all, he dribbles with both feet. Who the fuck does that? But I said it so many times. He's a generational talent. But at Barca, he was so inconsistent. Always getting injured. He would play one game so fucking well, dribble past 4 players. And then in the next 5 games, it's like he never played football.
Or
like
the chances that he was missing.
His finishing wasn't the best.
Oh my God.
His finishing isn't the best.
Bro,
I'm sorry.
I didn't know something was impulsive. Like he was just doing stuff to do stuff. But now he's just changed.
I think he got older, and of course, Lucha Enrique had a big impact on him, I'm sure. I'm sure also him going to Paris Saint-Germain also affected, but I think it's age and just everything coming well together with the coach and everything. And
agree.
I feel like... so who do you got for Ballon d'Or? If you had to put money. No, not who would you like, but if you have to put money.
I would like Lamine Yamal to win it.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
But, you know, like, I hate to say it, but I think Dembele's going to win it based on like obviously individual performance, but like winning the Champions League.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Yeah. I hate that argument, but like I hate that they have to disregard everything that Lamine won or did. But whatever, it is what it is. But I know Lamine's going to win in the future. I hope so. Yeah,
but like you personally, I would prefer for Lamine because imagine a Barcelona player to win it at 18. He's going to be 18 in October. That would be fucking crazy. But if I had to put money, and I'm only thinking rationally, like a businessman, I only want to win money, I would put money on Dembele.
Yeah, Dembele, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
So that was it, broski. Thanks for coming on.
Man, thank you.
That was Football Talk. He's going to be probably on for next episodes. He was a really good host, co-host. Let's get it. Peace out, boys.